Hello everyone, this is Shannon from That's So Po, and today I am doing day 4 of the Kwanzaa Reflect-A-Thon. If you're not familiar with it, I will link the information below. It is run by Njeri from ONYX Pages and is a chance to reflect about different principles of Kwanzaa and how they relate to the books that you've read in the past year. So today is day 4, which is Ujamaa, Cooperative Economics. And today's prompt is to think about books which involved economics and sharing economic resources. So first is Liliths Prude by Octavia Butler. If you've read this, you will know that it's not necessarily the most positive of experiences with sharing economic resources, but it's definitely a big part of the story, especially in the latter parts. This is a bind-up of the Xenogenesis series. So the cooperative economics parts, I think, come especially in the second and third books in the series, but in this bind-up, it's, just the latter part of the book. So in this book, it is a science fiction world where aliens have come. Humanity's basically destroyed itself in a third world war with nuclear disaster, but the aliens came and they kind of fixed the world, and they have allowed humanity to resettle the world, although very much under their thumb and with quite a bit of their influence. What the humans have to do though is they are now on this world, and they had been sort of frozen in cryogenic sleep for quite a while for the Earth to rehabilitate. And they have to rebuild society. And they live in these small little towns, they have to trade with each other, and there's a lot in this book sort of about how do you trade with each other, what happens when you don't trade nicely, and do you try to rebuild the kind of economy and the kind of lifestyle that they were used to before the Earth went through everything, or do they try to build a new form of society, a new type of living? And so there's also kind of a bit of tension between the lifestyle that people choose, the type of economy, and how much they're sharing as well. Are they more selfish or are they more giving? And I think that definitely the economy and the sharing of their economic resources is a big theme in this book, but maybe not the most positive. Next is Forbidden by Beverly Jenkins. This is a historical Western romance, and it is set in Nevada, I believe, right after the Civil War. And in it, there is a town, and the town has white people and it has black people. And one of the white people is not actually white. He is white passing, but he used to be a slave. He is the child of a slave. And he participates in the white economy, but a new woman who is black comes to town and she participates very much in the black community. And he has to make some really interesting choices about if he comes out as actually being black so that he can be together with her and participate in the black community, and what cost that has if he is no longer able to participate in the white economy. And so here, it's not just a divide socially among races, but very much an economic divide. And everybody in the story is pretty prominently business owners. He is the owner of a saloon as well as property, and she becomes the owner of sort of a catering business. And many of the other characters in this are business owners. Somebody is a carpenter, somebody runs a boarding house. So much of this book centers around economy and centers especially around how a community can support the members in the community by sharing economics. So that was a really big part of this story, which is not necessarily what you always expect in a romance novel, but I thought it was really well done. And lastly is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is a YA contemporary about Imani, a teenage mom who has to balance figuring out how to make decisions about her future while also supporting her family, and in particular her young toddler. Imani loves cooking, and she gets the opportunity to join a specialty cooking class at her school, but that requires a lot of kind of financial investment and resources from her. That means she has to figure out how to make that money happen. There's also a lot in this about how she works with other people to brainstorm ways to be able to afford these things, how she makes connections within the cooking community, how she is able to contribute to other people's goals and needs as well. And so a lot of this book is about that sharing sharing of economic resources and uplifting each other through it. So those are the books that I thought about for economic resources. If anybody else has any thoughts on these books or any recommendations for books you think tackled the idea of sharing economic resources well, I'd love to read them. And I will check in with you for day 5 of the Kwanzaa Reflect-A-Thon.